Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. The Bitcoin chart is unchanged and is still moving in the current price range here. So I still see the possibility as, well, the possibility that the price is moving into the orange box. Actually, that's still preferred, even though I have to say that pullbacks have been extremely shallow. And, the longer this correction takes, just sort of sideways, I think the lower the probability that we're going to see the orange box, because prices can correct over time or over price. And in this case, the time definitely is a factor here. Seems like there's one more high missing to form a 5-wave pattern. I wouldn't rule out a move to 56, 58K, maybe even 62K in this fifth wave of a third wave. The preferred scenario is that a larger degree fourth wave finished here, circle wave 4, on the 23rd of January. You know that. If you're new on the channel, I always try to give you an idea in the beginning of the video. And basically for everybody who's new, the idea is that in the preferred scenario, this was a wave 1, this was a wave 2, this move up was a wave 3. We are now in the wave 4 and we should get one more high in the wave 5. Then we have a so-called 5-wave move, which can be considered an impulse. Important for an impulse is that the 50% retracement level of the third wave is holding, and that level is at 47K. So as long as the 47K level is holding, I can see the move up as an impulse, which is therefore therefore this 47K level is so important. I've been mentioning it now for more than a week. It is the key level that distinguishes between further upside and a move down, basically the key pivot. From here, as long as above that, I'm going to look higher. Yeah, of course the market could come down a little lower than where it's now. Of course it could enter the orange box. That would actually be preferred because it's quite a likely outcome. Below 47K, however, we have to look for further downside, because then, as you might have realized when I spoke about the condition for an impulse, well, it cannot be counted as an impulse anymore then, all right? And if it cannot be counted as an impulse, probabilities for something different increase. And in my opinion, the next probable outcome, if we cannot hold a wave 4 impulse pullback or wave 4 pullback in an impulse, well, the next most likely outcome will be that this here is simply a B wave top, basically A wave down, a so-called B wave corrective rally, which typically means that we are going to go lower into the region of the previous A wave low, and that's around 39, maybe 40K. So that will become much more probable with a break below 47K. Therefore, this is such an important level. And if we go to the nano perspective, micro perspective, we see here that, there is certainly not really any impulsive rally happening to the upside at the moment. And the market continues to be in this range, but it cannot really get to the top of the range anymore, at least not at the moment. So I'm just wondering if weakness sets in. But then again, until we get a break finally below this green support line there at around 50,550, I cannot confirm that this C wave of wave 4 is indeed unfolding. Okay, it's going to be impossible. Cannot confirm that until we break below that green line. And if we break below that green line, I think we should test the 50K level next. That's the 23.6 fib level. It would be very shallow for a fourth wave. The most frequent target of a fourth wave is actually this 38.2 retracement level at 48.3K, and a break down below that could send us to the 47K level. That would be a very deep wave 4. Ideally, we avoid that. And therefore, I often say it's only support. 47K is not a target. But obviously, I cannot rule out that the wave 4 will get there, at least test that level. But it wouldn't be my preferred interpretation. I'd like to see the price come down a little lower, possibly to test the area around 48.3K. And as long as this level is holding, or this range is holding, a fifth wave higher is still expected. Just be aware that below 47K, we are likely going to play out this A, B, C orange scenario. Now, would that be bearish? Not really. It would simply delay the beginning of that fifth wave to the upside, because in the orange count, wave 4, circle wave 4, which presumably bottomed on the 23rd of January, never finished, and it would need to restart that fifth wave to the upside. But as I said, that's at the moment not what I'm primarily watching for. Can I rule it out? No, of course not. But my preferred interpretation is that this is still a fourth wave within a larger fifth wave of an even larger third wave, which should eventually take us to new all-time highs. Today, in our member live stream at 5 p.m. UTC, we are going to do a deep dive into the Bitcoin long-term chart as well as the Ether long-term chart, so really long-term outlook, discuss different counts, talk about what happened in the last bear market, last bull market, and so on. So if you're interested in that, check out the membership. You might be late for the live stream now, but you can rewatch all the recordings of previous live streams, including the one today. Just thought I'd mention that because this will give you really a good overview of all the likely counts I'm considering for Bitcoin as well as Ether, because Ether as well is at the key pivot, but that's obviously something for Ether videos. In the short term here, there is really not much more to add for Bitcoin. I think the support area is clear, 47K. Next upside, could send it, well, there is some resistance at 54K, 54.3K, and then 57K. And then the next larger resistance area here at 58K. If I zoom out a little bit, we can see these, 58.8K actually. It's the 1.236 extension level. These are all relevant levels for the next upside. But if we go up, in wave 5 of 5 of 3, I think we're really looking at 58K roughly in that area. And on the daily chart, obviously the relevant resistance on the daily, on the larger time frame, is the 35K level. Again, also here, I'm not predicting we go below that level. Instead, as long as we're holding it, I'm looking at further upside, because even in the orange count, we would likely not drop below that yellow box. So we shouldn't really, because if we do, then the larger assumption on the chart needs to change. And, we have that B-wave pullback alternative, but my preferred outcome is I go with the trend, so I am leaning towards further upside still in the white count. Would need to change my approach a little bit below 47K, but that would still not confirm a change in trend on the larger time frames. There is really not much more to add about Bitcoin. The only other thing I'd like to mention is that, of course, Bitcoin is expected to go up higher as long as we don't break below that 47K level, but we have to give it that entire space here to move freely, basically. And that's only support. It's not a target. So it is possible that Bitcoin breaks out earlier. I just want to mention that breakout point, which is here 52,860. It's basically this previous B wave high. Not much more to add. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.